What up, Hope Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, and we are here to see experts sharing the worst thing someone has tried to correct them about when they specialize in the subject. I have a story about this. Okay, I have several stories. The one that I'm going to share is a couple months ago, Travis and I watched this video about like weird Japanese commercials, right? And this one commercial pops up and some shit happens. I was like, oh, that's like really anachronistic, blah, blah, blah. And somebody who thinks they're smart and clever is like, Skitten, I don't think you know what the word anachronistic means. Because, so really what you mean is like archaic. And I was like, nah, nigga, I don't fucking mean archaic. Like, I meant anachronistic, and like I typed in like the full definitions of what the fuck anachronistic means, cause your girl knows what the fuck she's talking about most of the fucking time when it comes to fucking words. Like, y'all think that because I'm in here and like I cuss and stuff like that I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but this bitch has a degree in English. Like, I know what fucking words mean. That's all I have to say about that. Oh, also, one time somebody tried to correct me about some Harry Potter shit, and I was like, nah, bitch, I know the page. I don't know the pages anymore. But it's like, I know the fucking page that this shit happened on. And she was like, no, it doesn't. I was like, bitch, go look at it, take a picture of it, and tape it to your goddamn dumbass forehead. I know my shit. And I did know my shit when it came to that shit. Anywho's, let's go ahead and see what Reddit has to say. Bitch, I got your bitch.
What's the worst thing someone tried to correct you about something you're specialized at? I studied history at uni and worked for a while as a tour guide in Prague, Czech Republic. I had a customer once on a walking tour of the city go really snarky with me because I called the river running through the city the Vltava. He declared to the whole tour that that wasn't its name. I asked him if he'd heard it referred to as the Moldau, as that was the German name for the river during the Habsburg era when German was the official language.
Okay.
But he said no, and was I stupid? The river was called the Danube. I pointed out to him that the Danube doesn't run through Prague, and asked if maybe he was thinking of Brno. No, he had definitely read in a guidebook that it was the Danube, and why the heck was he paying money for this tour if the guide didn't even know what the river was called? At which point another tourist in the group showed him her guidebook where it clearly said Vltava.
Yikes.
Then another showed him a map, and another showed him another guidebook, and so on, until the whole group had basically showed him what it was he was.
Sir, please don't. Sometimes tour guides don't know what they're doing, but please don't be this person on a tour.
He didn't apologize, of course, but at least he shut up for the rest of the tour.
Why would he apologize? People never
I'm
apologize
not really
when they're fucking wrong.
specialized, but a Redditor tried correcting me about the geography of my country, Norway, claiming that it was very much flat like all the other Nordic countries, and he refused to believe me when I told him that it's the opposite and it's filled with mountains. I'm majoring in archaeology.
Sir, I live here. I live here. I don't, what?
I had a guy start talking to me about dinosaurs. I correct him and say it's a fairly common misconception, but paleontology and archaeology are two different fields and I'm studying humans, not dinosaurs. He doubles down and insists I need to know about dinosaurs because what do you do if you're digging up ruins and find a dinosaur fossil? Call a paleontologist? He smugly tells me I'll be useless in the field if I don't know about dinosaurs and I better start registering for paleontology courses and leaves. I still don't know about dinosaurs. I had to leave the welding subreddit for this reason. I'm a welder on nuclear submarines with over 14 different X-ray welding qualifications at this company alone. I would constantly get in.
We talk about the fact that there's a welding subreddit. I don't. Jesus, there's a subreddit for everything.
To arguments with people who are new and have no real world experience with welding. The amount of wrong information being thrown out left and right over there is insane. There are plenty of very knowledgeable folks there, but they are overshadowed by the ignorant. There are plenty of very knowledgeable folks there, but they are overshadowed by the ignorant aliens describing Earth to other aliens. You wouldn't believe the number of times people tried to tell me that people only become diabetic if they eat too much sugar and insist they are right. I'm a type 1 diabetic, diagnosed at 14 months. Was I drinking soda from my bottles and using ring pops as pacifiers then? my art teacher in school took the yellow paint from me and drew a massive sun in the corner of my picture. I was 5, and I was already freaking brilliant at drawing suns. The cow. So, Canadian lawyer here. I used to do primarily firearms law. I taught a course in firearms law at university. I've been consulted on it by lawyers. I've had judges tell other lawyers to phone me with firearms law questions.
Got it.
I had a law student telling me that I was oh so wrong about firearms law on a particular topic. Eventually they went and cited a particular case, which I politely advised them they were wrong about. They keep going on, talking about how just because I'm a lawyer and they're a student doesn't mean they're wrong. Meanwhile I'm just holding my tongue. Eventually someone else chimed in to be like, UHH, don't you know who that is? And the case you cited was a case he personally argued and won on. Satisfying AF. If a heaven exists, I think I'd just want to have it be a never-ending series of these moments where I'm the expert. Not me, but yesterday I was at a physics lecture given by Donna Strickland, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics last year for her work in lasers. During the questions afterward, some kid, either undergrad or young grad, I didn't know him, was all I have a comment more than a question, and proceeded to explain some laser technique to her and that she should use it. Her response was a yes. We are well familiar with X in my lab and use it. I was just kind of amazed at the moxie of a kid who tried to tell a Nobel laureate how to do her research in a room packed with hundreds of people. There's one in every field. I've know a few ancillary candidates in my field just starting out, working with kids with autism, who think they have it all figured out because they're a psych major and took child development classes. I'm a climber. People tell me to wear gloves all of the time. There is a form of climbing where gloves would be somewhat acceptable, although even then a bit questionable. But in free climbing bouldering you cannot wear gloves because your fingers actually allow you to grip onto smaller pieces of rock. I totally get you. Got asked that question too a few times and then offered the people to join me and wear gloves. One person joined me once and tried it seriously with those thin woolen gloves, and she realized she had been wrong. She is now my reference person if someone asks the question again.
Yep. You say dumb shit, you get to be the example when I say you shouldn't do that dumb shit because this person did that dumb shit and look what happened to them. Now they look dumb. Do you want to look dumb like that person who looks dumb because they said something dumb? You don't want to be that dumb. Don't be dumb, dummy.
I'm a food scientist, so this happens basically all the goddamn time. One person insisting that MSG gives her terrible migraines. She was eating pizza at that exact time. Someone insisting that you should drink apple cider vinegar to alkalize your body to prevent diseases. I point out that's an acid. He insists it's not. Apple cider vinegar. Another person telling me how agave nectar is so much healthier and how I should replace all the sugar I eat with it. I tell her it's just a fructose glucose mix and you might as well use corn syrup.
Okay.
She got really
Didn't know
mad.
that.
Like irrationally mad. There is so much misinformation about food that this is basically constant for me. Asked to do the rear brakes on a classic Vespa. I think it may have been a 200 Rally, not sure. It was decades
Means
ago.
nothing, but
So
okay.
the owner and his pal turn up with the scooter. I loosen off and remove the rear rim and tire, loosen the hub nut and go to put the rear rim and tire back on. Oh hey, wait a minute mate, what the f are you doing? I'm getting the hub off. Not like that, you're not. So I tell them I'm going for a cuppa and a smoke and I'll be back when they've removed the hub. 4 hours. 4 bloody hours they were at it, hub wouldn't budge, not 1 millimeter. Getting bored I go back to them, put the rim and tire on, screw in and tighten 2 wheel bolts and using a mallet hit 3 times in 1 point.
You let them
then
do
3
this for
times
4 hours, you jackass.
180 degrees opposite, rinse and repeat 3 or 4 times, whole rim tire hub assembly lifts off. I charged them 1 stroke to a day labor for a 30-minute job. A guy that considered himself to be a music maven tried to correct me when I mentioned Beethoven's 9th Symphony, Ode to Joy. He insisted that J.S. Bach composed it when, in fact, Bach never composed any symphonies, not to mention that Ode to Joy is one of Beethoven's most famous pieces. I'm a Harley mechanic and I swear most Harley riders have to pretend they know everything about their bike. I don't even argue with them anymore. I just tell them what's up and if they want to debate about it, I say okay and walk away. Lol. I know a guy who built his Harley entirely or almost entirely from spare parts. His party trick is to ask other enthusiasts what year model it is. The correct answer is all of them.
Ah.
A new house gets built next door to mine, and shortly after the owners move in, they knock on my door to complain that my house is built too high. I explain that my house is built on flat ground and their builder has built their house lower and undercut my fence. The guy proceeds to give a long-winded spiel about how earthworks are done and my house is too high and I have to fix it. I then explain that I do earthworks for a living, have done the earthworks for 300 plus houses in my suburb alone, and around 1200 in the local area. I name his builder, site supervisor, engineer, the exact floor levels in the street, and the law that says that he has to pay to fix my fence. He still hasn't paid, and legal procedures are beginning soon. I'm a professional pastry cook. The GM at my new job tried to reteach me how to crack eggs.
What?
That flying is a dangerous mode of travel. I am ATC. A plane crash is news. A car crash is business as usual. I didn't specialize on it, but when I worked at the deli in my local grocery store, I had a guy come in asking for some sliced ham. I asked him if he wanted Black Forest ham, honey baked or mesquite ham.
The answer is always honey baked, in case you were wondering.
He looked at me and said it's not mesquite, it's mystique.
Like the egg.
I pointed at the sign and label on the actual effing ham that said mesquite ham, but he still corrected me. I gave up and gave him his dang mystique ham. This was a good 15 years ago and I'm still mad about it. My hometown is Mesquite. That cracks me up. I'm gonna start calling it Mystique.
Mystique. Like the fucking X-Men. Are you... I can't. Why are people who... When people are dumb, why can't they just be like, you're right, that was dumb. That was dumb for me to say. Why can't they ever do that? They never do that, and it's so like, I can't handle the stupidity of people. Ugh, peace out, Hope Biscuits. It's getting lit. I'm winking. You see me winking at you guys?